Welcome everybody to the K&B Music Den. As always, I'm Brad.
And
You, sir?
I am everyone's friend, Keith.
We are.
And, sir, what are we doing today?
We are checking out the new album, Dark Matter, by Pearl Jam, before you are.
Yes, almost a week before you are, because we're cool. And because A Day in the Life Records here in downtown Lancaster, Pennsylvania. What a beautiful day, Brad.
It is beautiful.
And we're going to be inside, and it's going to start in about 15 minutes at 2 p.m. They're going to drop the needle on Dark Matter. We're going to hear the album in its entirety before it is released this coming Friday. So we are going to be one of the first channels, although they're doing parties like this around the country.
They
so
are,
we'll see.
yes.
But we're going to be at least one of the channels that's going to give you our initial first listen review, because we can only listen once till Friday.
That's it.
So we're excited for this. It's a beautiful day. So we will see you soon, and we'll let you know what we think of the new Pearl Jam. Hey folks, we're back here at the K&B Music Den. We are at A Day in the Life Records here with Dan. Again, so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, thanks for having all of us here. We had a nice crowd here today. Listen to the new Pearl Jam album called Dark Matter. First of all, Dan, what were your thoughts? And are you a Pearl Jam fan?
I am a fan. I've been a fan since 10 came out, and I thought it was fantastic. I think it's maybe among some of their best work. And I tried to go in without expectations, just try to kind of go in clean, but it knocked me out. And there were some real surprises. It's definitely a Pearl Jam record, but it's chock full of surprises too. I think it's fantastic, and I think with each listen, it's just gonna. So we listened to it today. I can't wait for it to come out Friday.
I know. Now we gotta wait.
It's a little time with it, yeah.
Kind of a teaser. I echo a lot of your thoughts. I thought it was really strong. Brad and I are gonna do our in-depth review coming up later on this video. So I'll hold a lot of my specific thoughts, but can't argue with anything you said there. I thought it was a great listen, and looking forward to it coming out on Friday so I can listen to it over and over.
I plan to spend some time this weekend with it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So we'll just get that first reaction, then we'll have more time to live with it. So tell us a little bit about the store. I noticed up here it says since 2012, so I guess this is year 12 for you guys?
Well, yes and no. We've been in this spot just a little over 3 years. Before that, we actually had our shop kind of within another shop here in Lancaster, a vintage shop called the Scarlet Willow.
Oh, okay.
And we started as a little side gig, a store within their store, and we just had the great fortune to grow and build an audience of friends. And then in January 2021, we came out here on our own. So
great. The
dream started in 2012.
Yes.
And we started real small at record shows and things like that.
Sure, yeah.
And we started at the Scarlet Willow in 2016, and then we've been on our own since 2021. So it's been a dream and then growth from there. And I pinch myself every day I come through the door and turn the lights on.
Yeah, a dream to a reality, right?
That's right.
That's great. And we go to the record show once in a while, so I'm sure we saw you there at some point, the Keystone Record Collectors. Yeah, this was such a fun event. Tell me just briefly, tell me how this came about as far as how your store was selected. Did you submit and you were chosen, or they approached you? How did that work?
It was arranged by the Record Store Day organization, so the organization that organizes Record Store Day each year. Basically reached out to us as a shop that participates in Record Store Day, and afforded us the opportunity to participate. So we jumped at it because we knew that it would be fairly limited as far as how many stores could participate. So we didn't miss a beat, and we basically raised our hand and said we'd love to be part of it. So they selected us and sent us some really great. We had slip mats, they're gone, posters. We gave away some tote bags and things like that. So. So I've got to tip my hat to them, and I've got to tip my hat to the band, because Pearl Jam has been a band that has always supported and championed record stores, independent record stores, and done things like give their fans an opportunity to hear their music a week early, and to get people to come on a Sunday afternoon and hang out, like-minded fans. So I mean, how cool is that? So I just feel fortunate, and again pinch myself to have just been a small little part of it.
Yeah, well, and it's great. I was sitting there listening, and just, there was a young boy over there that I caught his eye. It's just so cool, because people say, record stores are dead and albums are dead. People only listen to singles anymore. It's just not true. It may be less people, with the people growing up now that have all the music on their phone that are more concerned about songs than albums. But I find even the younger people I talk to, they go back and listen to the older classic albums, and then the modern artists they're like, hey, I'm ready. I'm really excited for that album, not that single.
Very much so. And I think there are more and more albums coming out. And I think what we heard today is very much an album, not a collection of singles or random songs.
Exactly, a cohesive artistic statement, if you will.
Agreed.
So, well, Dan, thank you so much for your time.
It's my pleasure. I appreciate it.
Really appreciate it. We'll put a link to Dan's store here in downtown Lancaster, Pennsylvania. It's called A Day in the Life Records. Where'd you get the name? Just kidding.
This would be a whole other video, but I am a Beatle geek of the highest order.
Okay, that's an awesome name.
Yeah,
I saw we were coming here, and I was like, I already know this is going to be great.
Well, thank you.
So, but thanks again for your time, and we had a great time. And coming up next on this video, Brad will be back on the screen, and we'll give our in-depth review of Dark Matter. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
And we're back, everybody. We're back.
We're back.
We're at the parking lot now.
How did we get here so fast?
Uber. We Ubered today.
We did. That was a good idea, buddy.
Well, you know.
We didn't want to deal with parking. We're prima donnas.
We are.
It's a Sunday.
And there's no chauffeurs yet. We don't have, limo service yet.
Not yet.
Until you guys start tipping. What is that called?
Patreon?
Patreon. There we
go. We'll get there.
Just for cars, yeah. All right, so we're back to talk about the album, Keith.
Yeah, but again, thanks to Dan at A Day in the Life Records. Great experience there. He said he's going to do more of those parties, so I think we should check him out when it's
It's a great shop. I spent $100 by accident.
I spent about $35 on purpose.
So yeah, be careful in there.
Yeah, be careful. Nice shop.
It is.
But yeah, dude. Well, first of all, hearing Dark Matter, the single, which we both did, like, kind of before we dive in, what were your expectations going into this, and kind of how it might stack up to the last few, or what are your thoughts going in?
I'm a Pearl Jam fan, but I feel like some of the last albums have been kind of taking a step back. I wasn't a big fan of Gigatron or whatever.
Gigaton, yeah.
Gigaton, whatever.
Yeah, same.
Giga, whatever.
Didn't even bother to learn the name. That's
yeah. I didn't find that album to be that enjoyable. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was kind of lukewarm on that one myself.
That's where I was.
Same with Lightning Bolt for me.
Yeah.
Some good songs. Backspacer. Again, some of these more recent ones for me, it sounds like you're saying the same thing. Not bad, but not like, wow, another great Pearl Jam album.
Yep.
So, yeah, so going into this, I think, even after hearing just the song, the title song, Dark Matter, I was like, okay, we might be turning the corner back to the old days here. Yep. So, any general thoughts before we get a little specific?
This is definitely a step up.
Yes,
this is coming back. Just as a quick, just a quick punch at it, this is better. This is now one that if you were to take a discography would be landing in the middle. This would not be, it might be in the upper half, honestly, in some cases.
Yeah.
There was a lot of great moments on this. The song opening is Scared of, well, we got to look it up here. I took some notes, guys.
Yeah.
Scared of Fear, which that's an interesting title to begin with.
Yeah.
I thought it was one of their better openers I've heard in a long time.
Agreed.
Yeah, great up-tempo, interesting little fuzz start, and then it goes right into this up-tempo, rock. McCready had a great solo on this.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
Oh, I did.
Okay.
Throughout the album, I noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Eddie, his vocals sounded like prime Eddie. He sounded fantastic.
Yeah.
Some of this harkens back to the old Pearl Jam, some of these vocals.
Well, since you brought it up, let's talk about the vocals for a moment, because people, friends of mine, I've read some things online that have been saying in recent years, especially when they go to see the Pearl Jam in concert, people are saying, if anything, Eddie's voice is getting better.
It sounds, and
it's just so strong, and it's so fine-tuned now. Usually we get the opposite as our rock star friends age. Usually they lose a step. If anything, it seems like he's gained a notch.
Yeah, to me, he's right back where he has the same ability to hit those notes and the scream, the growls, but the vocals. Yeah, he sounds like he's back in 1994 in some cases.
Yeah. The Father Time has not done him dirty.
No, not at all.
Or any of the guys, really.
No.
But yeah, I agree with you on the opener. I was, of course, going into it that Dark Matter is not the first song, so you're like, okay, what are we gonna get here? And then the second song, also, I noticed it was bam bam, like right in your face, kick you in the teeth, as I like to say.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, I'm really wanting an upbeat, really guitar heavy, just straight up rock album from these guys. And when I heard those first 2 songs in a row, I was like, all right, buckle in, here we go.
But even mentioning guitars, I think Jeff Ament takes center stage on that second song. That bass sound he's getting,
that's true,
is fantastic.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, the first 2 songs are pretty hit you in the mouth quick.
Yeah.
Third song is a curveball.
Mellowed out a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah. It did. Wreckage.
Yeah.
But
great lyrics.
It's amazing lyrics. This song is definitely radio friendly, but in a good way.
Yeah. You have to clarify that these days.
I put in my notes, it kind of has that same calming feeling to me that Just Breathe had, where it's just really relaxing. Eddie crooning with his best vocals, fantastic notes. Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind the down tune. I mean, I didn't mind the step back in tempo there.
Well, and again, we just heard the album once. It's it's listening party before it comes out this coming Friday, so we're doing an early review here. So you only get to hear it once. There's only so much you can latch onto.
Yeah.
Brad was kind enough to take some notes. I just kind of sat and listened. But I did remember the lyrics about wreckage. That stood out to me. And, you mentioned Just Breathe, but I will say that what I noticed overall about this album is that even when it slowed down or got to more mid-tempo or mellowed out a bit, which I was hoping there wasn't a ton of, and there wasn't, when it did, though, it seemed like the guitars were still fairly heavy.
Oh, yeah.
Which was, I enjoyed that,
Yeah, no, this stayed as a rock album. You're getting a rock album this time.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
And then, track 4, the home run spot, as we always say.
Yeah.
Dark Matter. So, I mean, we've all heard that song.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I think we've all pretty much enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good, again, back to the rock sound, heavier.
I think it's a great title track, yeah.
Yeah. Won't Tell. What'd you think of that one? Track 5, if you remember, another.
I'm trying to remember. Did it go down a bit there? Yeah, okay.
Yep. This was another this was another tempo dropper.
Yeah.
But again, very good. Very, very well done.
Yeah.
The nice things about this is if you're into the heavier Pearl Jam, you have it. If you like the radio Pearl Jam, you got it. And they do a great job of sequencing it on this album.
Exactly.
I think that's really big on this album is the sequencing.
Well said.
It keeps the pace beautiful on it. There's not any dull spots that you're waiting for the next thing to come. This flows beautifully, I think.
Well, I agree. And Dan from A Day in the Life mentioned in our segment with him that, he liked or maybe he said that off camera.
Okay.
But he liked the sequence and all that. So, and I totally agree with him on that. And but it was a very enjoyable listen. I think track 6 did it kind of start a little slower and then it kicked up?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that's going to be the closing on side A on the vinyl.
I think it probably will be. It's track 6.
It sounded like it, yeah.
It definitely has that feel. I stopped taking as much notes at that point.
Okay, good.
Because I was getting, I was getting more into the idea of just listening to the album because I realized these songs were going to bounce back and forth as far as up tempo, down tempo, radio friendly, early, 10 sounding. So I kind of stopped, but yeah, this was what he said. This is kind of your mixed bag song here, track 6.
Yeah, I like the way it, I like the way it. Yeah, I like the way it ended. It had like a longer instrumental ending, which made me feel like it's probably going to be the end of side A when you look at it as a vinyl album. I noticed there was at least 2 times on this album, and I think they're both on side B. I'm guessing if I remember correctly. That it started a little slower, a little more mellow, and then like the drums came in or something came in where you're like, oh, okay, this isn't going to be a ballad.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a little curveball there, but that was cool. I like that.
It was cool. It was cool. I find sometimes bands that have been around for a while, some of the songs can start sounding similar. Like you can put this album on and sit through it, and they don't, differentiate each other. The songs. This does not have that problem. These songs are very different, very much each very individual. A lot of strong points on all these songs.
Yeah.
I didn't have any songs where I went,
No, I really didn't.
I didn't have, and that never happened to me during this 11 tracks. I never thought, well, that one didn't hit.
There was only like 1 or maybe 2 where I was having a little trouble here, like understanding what the lyrics were.
Sure.
But maybe, again, because we were just sitting halfway back.
Yep.
And I'm sure with headphones that won't be an issue. But I was enjoying a lot of lyrics. So that's why I was trying to hear them. But yeah, I mean, the production, I think, isn't this the one where they got the guy that just did the Rolling Stones, Andrew?
I believe so, yes.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, you're going to bring out the names now. That's not my strong suit.
Oh, man. I've been hearing this guy's name. I'm so stupid. But anyway, you guys know what it is. It's Andrew W. It starts with a W. Wood, Wyatt, I don't know.
Andrew W.K.
Jeez. We should do a long lost album video on him.
Jeez.
But yeah, so that production's there. The same for the Rolling Stones Hackney Diamonds that came out last year, or last year. So people were talking about that going into this. How would that affect things? I did read that the producer, Andrew, insert last name, wanted them to get in there and say, hey, you know, last several albums, you guys, it seems like you really marinated them over a long time. You really slaved over them. Say, just let's get in the studio, take a few weeks, just bang these songs out, have fun. Don't overthink it. Don't overdub it. I think it shows in the result.
It does. This is definitely the most raw sounding I think they've been in a while.
Yeah.
Where it sounds like these are, you know, you don't hear any studio mistakes or anything in that sense. But it doesn't feel like they've overproduced it to the point where it's like sterile. You know what I mean? It doesn't have that feel to it either.
Exactly. Yeah, lots of great guitar solos, a lot of McCready on this album.
Yeah, McCready's great on this.
Which I had read about that too before I heard it, that McCready had said, you know, I did my thing on this one.
He did too.
I mean, it's only one listen, but I may go so far as to say their best album since Binaural.
Oh yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah,
I think that's very fair.
So that's kind of my take.
Yeah, this lands in there with classic Pearl Jam. You can enjoy this album. I mean, this is definitely a win. This isn't.
Yeah, it's not well, that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think this is, you know, you often hear these things that get overbloated, like Return to Form.
Oh,
and, I even read somewhere someone said that had heard this maybe in one of those theater shows already.
Yep.
But something about, it's kind of like cross between Yield and Binaural. I have no idea what to say about that. I only heard it once.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I think that's a fair comparison, but
yeah. But yeah, I mean, so please sit here as you're watching this, be jealous of us because we've heard the new Pearl Jam album before you. No, but actually, if you went to one of the theater events or one of the other listening parties that happened today on this Sunday, please weigh in on the comments. What did you think? We are the lucky ones that got to hear it early.
Yep.
So thanks again to Dan at Day in the Life Records in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. He said he's going to be doing more listening parties, and I'm sure we'll go back.
Probably be in there, yeah.
And spend more money we didn't plan to spend, Dan. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, weigh in the comments. What do you think when it comes out Friday? If you're waiting till then to hear it, you know, please just pull this video back up, put your comments in then. So it's still obviously valid. This is a Dark Matter album review.
It is.
Early or on time.
Exactly.
So, lucky for us, it's early. But, so as always...
I'm Brad.
He's Brad, and I'm your friend Keith. This is the K&B Music Den. Thanks for taking this little field trip with us today. And as we always say, please like this video, share it on social media, smash the bell for notifications, and subscribe to the channel. We'll be back with more content soon. We've had a little mini hiatus here. We've had some things going on in our lives.
We're always chaotic. That's what's going on.
We're always chaotic. And guys, we love doing this, but please remember, we don't get paid for this.
Yeah.
So sometimes this has to take a back seat now and again, but we never let it take a back seat for too long because we love it too much. So, and we appreciate you watching. And you know, there's people that are kind of waiting for the next videos. We can tell by the views.
Like
so
3 of them.
Yeah, there's like well, my mom, you know, your son.
Yeah.
And my mailman. So, but we don't like to keep you waiting too long. But just please be patient with us as you know life happens. So, but hey, Pearl Jam, the 2 thumbs up from us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give me your thumb, man. 2 thumbs up. And we will see you guys soon. Thanks.